Hello, hello, hello.
Hi.
Hello. How are you, Trina?
Oh, well, getting there, Sarah, getting there.
Hi, Sarah.
Hello, Hyacinth. How are you, my love?
Good, thank you. Hi, Trina.
Hello, Cynthia. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Oh, you can't see me, can you? Hold on.
That's
Well, I'll
okay.
tell you, it's been the weirdest day. It's cost me a fortune. Teenagers.
Really?
Oh, they always do, don't they?
We had water leaking through the ceiling in the laundry. Just a slow drip, but it was right above all of the electrical panels. So I was just panicking, you know how you do. We just like, oh my gosh, where's it coming from? What's happening? Couldn't find anything. So we had to call the plumbers out. The plumbers finally came today. We've been catching it in a bucket. And he couldn't get to the leak through the ceiling. So we had to rip out all of the built-in wardrobes upstairs. And he had to rip up the carpet, rip up the floorboards to get to it, to tell us that the pipes are completely dry and there's no leak coming from there. And I'm like, you what? He finally tracked it down to the back bathroom upstairs, which is the one the teenagers use. They'd left. Can you believe this? This has cost me hundreds and hundreds of pounds, and I've still got to call a plasterer out to put a new roof in. They'd left the handheld shower slightly off of the bath, dripping.
Oh, no. Oh, my God.
Oh.
So it had gone. You couldn't really see it, but it was like finding the weakest link all of the way through the walls and then dripping through the ceiling.
How long had it been dripping for?
Well, probably, I don't know, but enough that it's come all of the way through and been dripping for days now.
Do you know the only thing you can look at? This is the only thing I always say, Sarah, is I always say, don't get married, because on your wedding day, all the embarrassing stories that you've done to me and all the trivia, that's the first thing I'm going to be doing is cheering you, going, good for you. No refund, okay? No coming back. It's all gone.
Do you know what, though? Do you know what I said? Do you know what? At least I can prove that I've got teenagers who wash.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's a win, right?
Yeah.
Could look at it that way. Yeah.
Wow.
So how have you all been? How have you been getting on with your social media?
With you, Cynthia.
Oh, come on. There's some laughs here. Hyacinth, let's hear yours.
Well, I'm still working on it. Getting used to posting. And finally, I've set up my Shopify, but I'm just working on putting things on it now.
Yeah, brilliant.
But yeah, it's taken me a while to get used to posting.
Yeah, and it will do. It's unnatural. It's not, it's not the kind of thing that we think. I don't know anyone who's just natural at it, to be perfectly honest. Everyone has to kind of get into their own rhythm and swing. And although I'm giving you pointers and guides as to different things that you can post and things like that, you don't have to follow those exactly. If you feel something inside you and you want to do something that's about, more about the way that you do things, that's fine. We want that personality to come out. But having that kind of guide and some steps and some ideas to help you is a really, really good thing. And what we'll do is each month as we kind of roll through all of this, I'll try and give you all sorts of different types of ideas as well. So if you don't like one kind of style, there'll be something else completely different. And it's not just about having something different, it's about appealing to different people. Different people react to different types of things. So it's about having different types of content buckets to appeal to a wider audience for you. So we'll definitely be looking at all of those.
I think for me, Sarah, as well, actually trying to do a live, something where I'm actually speaking about either why I set the business up or just something, just like how we're doing now. I just want to be brave enough to do it.
Oh my goodness, well that is perfect, because how many of you have signed up for Leader?
Leader, what do you mean?
Well
What's
done.
Leader?
At least a few of you. That's fantastic. So I put
April the
several
1st.
posts up now about Leader, live every day in April. And it's a free program that runs for 30 days with a lady called Luria Petrucci, who is just incredible. And she will help you with anything that you
That's
want
right.
to do
Yeah,
with
yeah.
live video. Now, when we talk about live video, it's always really, really good to use live video because you get far more engagement and views using live than you will with recorded. But everything you'll learn with Leader, you can also use for pre-recorded video. So it's still really, really useful. And it's completely free. I think it started yesterday. Or did
No,
you
it goes
know?
April the 1st.
Oh, it's April. All right, so you haven't missed it yet. But
So
absolutely.
was this advertised? Did you say you put it up as a post, did you?
Yeah, a couple of times
Okay.
now.
Yeah.
So definitely go and click the button, get signed up for Leader. And I mean, it's absolutely free. It will really, really help you build that confidence. The people who help run it for Luria, she's got a whole load of moderators who I know. I think I've known them at least 6 years. And they are so supportive. They've got like an area normally, like a separate area of the group where you'll do your videos and you can kind of post them up there privately. So just the people within Leader get to see them, and you can ask for feedback, or if you're getting stuck on technical things, someone will hop on and say, okay, how can I help you? Let's hop on together, just me and you, and let's see if we can work through this. They're brilliant. They'll really help you dial in. And I mean, you can be running really, really professional full video sets by the time that you've actually worked through with them. But if you're worried about that confidence at the beginning, about just even getting on camera, even for a 15-second video, it can be terrifying at first. And going live every single day with other people who are just as terrified as you will just get rid of all of that. Your nerves will go. She'll talk to you about strategy and what types of things to say. She's got it all mapped out for you. And as I say, it's 30 days, it's completely free. I really, really, really suggest that you go on and actually start doing the thing. Just
how do you get onto it, Sarah?
Is it on the VIP, is it? Is it on the VIP platform, or is it on okay.
Yeah. So definitely go on. I think I posted it in the regular one as well.
Yeah.
I think it's in both. So definitely go and find it.
I will.
Hang on, someone's put
Can I ask Sarah?
Yes.
Is it in the Facebook page?
It's in the social stars. It's in normal social stars, and it's in the VIP social stars.
And you just click on the link that you've put.
Click on the link.
Called LEADER?
No, LEDA, live every day in April. And it's with Live Streaming Pros. You can also go to it by just going to Live Streaming Pros on Facebook and then clicking the link from there. But I've put the link and everything up for you anyway.
Thank you.
I think it's like a red colored post, isn't it?
Yeah.
Looks red.
Yeah. It was good because she sends you an email and it's quite personal. Like, well, it makes it like it's quite direct, and then you go through, you click the link, and then you have to fill out the questions on Facebook, and then she comes back and says, what are you struggling with? And then she says, okay, I'll work with you on that, and then go. And then when you go onto the Facebook page, there's rules that you have to apply, but she's very, very good. And you watch the video and she really stresses how this is like a comfort zone and that there's no negativity given, and how you expect feedback on your video. So you need to give feedback on other people's videos. You can't just expect the algorithm to work on just what you present. But the other thing which she said, which was really good, she said, if you don't want to go through the feed, click onto the top button where it's the videos, so you can watch the videos of what people have posted and give feedback, because that's what we're all there for. It's not just to be given feedback, it's that you get feedback and you give feedback.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
it's really good. Honestly, she's been doing it for years now. I've definitely been with Lurie for at least 6 years. I've been through most of her programs. You'll really get so much value from it. It's brilliant. So, you know, if you're just needing that bit of confidence, it's not just even the confidence. Even if you feel confident, you'll learn so much about strategy as well. It's definitely worthwhile. And you
Does it
don't need
matter?
anything other than a phone. You don't need lots of fancy equipment or anything
No.
like that. It's super simple.
Do you have to go in on every day, even if you're working?
No.
No,
No,
you don't have
no.
to. You can hop in and out. It's advised to do at least one video a day, even if it's, you know, 10, 15 seconds, just holding your phone while you're walking. Say, you know, I'm off to work, can't wait until I get home tonight so I can this, that, and the other. It's just about consistency, because the more that you do it, the easier it becomes. And it's just like when you're doing your social posts, if you miss a day, if you miss 2 days, it's always harder to get back into the rhythm of it. So making it happen every single day should just become automatic. And that's why I always keep going on and on and on about trying to batch produce your content so that you can pre-schedule it out. So you're not thinking, you know, if you could just make them, get them out the way, and then carry on all week, not have to worry about it. It's brilliant. Now, if you do suddenly have this rush of energy and all sorts of inspiration in the middle of the week, and you can produce a whole load more, and you can schedule them out so you've got more than one post, or for 2 weeks or whatever. But whenever you have that time, try not to just make one. Think, how can I use this and make lots of different things? And what we're going to do today is look a little bit at branding. How many of you already have your branding sorted out?
Getting there.
Yay.
Getting there.
Okay,
It's hard.
Some people do have their branding sorted out.
Oh.
I'm sure that there will be people who don't have their branding yet. I know we've got some people who are still planning their businesses. And quite often, as you start going through this process, you end up kind of tweaking your business a little bit. You'll be thinking, do you know what I liked then isn't what I like now. You'll have changed, or maybe you've refined your brand a little bit to fit a specific audience, and that brand just needs a little update and a bit of tweaking. And all brands rebrand themselves on a regular basis. So if you think about all of the big companies, take Kellogg's, for example. Kellogg's have been around for goodness knows how long, haven't they? Well known. But do you know how many different logos they've had?
Yeah.
So if you go back and you actually look, it's incredible, massive number of variations. So we always think of the classic, and to us, every single time we see it, as oh, it's Kellogg's. But actually, they've changed it and changed it and changed it and changed it. But it's still recognizable in every single one. But they keep it fresh and up to date all of the time. And it's important for you to keep your brand up to date as well. So what you liked 5 years ago might be completely out of touch with branding today. So definitely have a look at that. Okay, so Kate says that she's just a business startup, but she has got some ideas. And that's great. The way I like to kind of pull my ideas together is to just grab something like a Pinterest board, just even a secret one, and just dump all of the ideas and pictures and images and things that I like. It doesn't have to be anything that's even in a similar field to you. It's just about whether you like it, what appeals to you about it. Is it the color? Is it the design? Is it the fonts? The packaging? It could be all sorts of different things. But when you see something that inspires you, pop it into the folder. So I worked with somebody that for months and months and months had been trying to sort out her branding and just couldn't come up with any kind of images that she really liked. And then we sat down, and she has a farm. We sat down together, and she absolutely loved a particular photo that she'd taken of a sunset at her farm. So we ended up using the colours that were in the sunset as her inspiration for all of her branding. And then I found out that she actually did all sorts of artwork. So we started getting her, she got her paintbrushes out that she'd not got out in, I think, 20 years. And she started drawing these beautiful illustrations of flowers that were on the farm and things that she used in her products, and her entire branding was put together. So sometimes it's in front of you, it's around you, it's the things that you love about your own life or a special place. Okay, so branding, Anne, is not the same as a logo, no. So that's the first thing that we need to talk about really when we look at branding. A lot of people think that your brand is the logo, and it's absolutely not. The brand is everything concerning your brand. And that means that it's both the visual aspects like colors, logo, fonts, layouts, all of your design elements as well, things like illustrations or photography. So those are all brand visuals. But then it's also about things like the tone of voice that you use, or the stories that you tell within your business. It's your slogan or your tagline if you have one. It's the way that you talk to people in your social posts, your emails. And it's also about the text itself in your website, all of the communication that you put out there, but even down to the messaging of your brand, the ethos of the brand, and your hopes and goals. So all of the things that you do come together to create both your brand imagery and your brand identity. And that whole package together is your brand. So it's not just a logo. A logo is just actually one tiny element of the brand imagery. Now I've got a really, really helpful link for you, which I will drop into the chat. And this is an entire section on Canva that takes you through tons and tons and tons of elements of brand identity, both from your visual perspective and the other elements too. It'll help you understand the differences between them and then how to put all of the different elements together using elements in Canva. There's tons of links in there. There's some great videos in there. It's like a whole course put together for you about creating your own brand identity. So you don't need to rush or anything like that. Just take little bites of this and just keep going through it. The nice short videos, they're easy to understand, lots of links and things that guide you to putting all of this together in a simple way in Canva. And speaking of Canva, I wanted to start with that today. So I'm going to just share my screen and go to Canva itself. Okay, so I'm in Canva at the moment, and you will notice that there's been a few updates in the last week on Canva, some amazing new things. So they're calling it this magical new era. Look at this wonderful, look at this. How cool is that? I mean, who doesn't love a little bit of sparkle?
Yep.
So I'm loving it already. But when you log into Canva, the first thing you'll see is you might also want to try. And then right here, it says discover the magic from Canva Create. And yours might not look like this. They might look like little presents, like little wrapped up presents. And when you click on them, they turn into what I've got on mine. So it's really cool because you get to like unwrap the little gift from Canva to yourself. And each of these is a wonderful new tool, which just adds so many extra things for you to play around with. And one of the first ones on here is Brand Hub. We're talking about creating your branding. So let's actually start there. So in Canva, you've had the ability to create a brand section with all of your own elements for quite a while, but they've added some new elements into it. And the reason for maybe creating a brand hub inside of Canva is that it keeps all of the core things that you use in your business together in one place for you. So you're not scratching around thinking, what color did I use? Oh, it's kind of that kind of color green. And everything starts being all completely different colors and all completely different fonts. You want a unified look wherever possible. So this helps to kind of put everything out. So let's walk through. So try it out, it says. And it will come up and you'll have this brand kit here. And you can create your own. So we'll go to add new on the right hand side, and you can just give it a name. So I don't know what's, we'll just call it test brand. And we'll create. And then it comes up with all of these things that we can kind of put together. So the first thing is your logo. You can either drag a logo in or you can search your files for a logo. So I'm going to use one of the Candle Academy ones. That's an old one. And then we can look at brand colors. So we want to actually pick a color palette. So it brings up black and white automatically, but here I want the actual color palette. So I'm going to add on click new. If you've got specific colors that you want to use, the hex codes or whatever, the CMYK, you can just add them in here. If you're not sure, you can just literally click around. So if we click in here, we can think, well, actually, I want it to be a kind of blue. That's actually quite nice. And then I want another blue. So I'm going to click on that one again, but I'm going to make it darker. I've just changed the wrong one. Oh my goodness. All right, so we'll do another one, but I want it darker this time. And then I've got my black and my white, and then I want a contrast color maybe for buttons. So yellow is quite a good color to contrast for buttons. It makes them really stand out. So we'll have a yellow for the buttons. So there, I've chosen what I want for, actually I'm going to have a really pale gray as well. I don't want pink. Let's do F1, F1, F1. That will do fine. It's a kind of creamy color. I just want something that's not quite white. And then I can use those colors over and over and over in anything that I do. And then I can look at anything that I'm going to be writing. So it's got everything from your title and subtitle, headings, subheadings, body text, quotes, captions, all of the things that you would write are here. And we can pick the specific type of font that we want to use. So let's say that I want to use Merriweather, and it's giving it, because it knows it's a title, it's already determining what type of size you might want it to be. Now, if you don't want it to be 42 and you want it to be bigger or smaller, you can change that. But it's really nice to just have everything here. So the subtitle is also Merriweather, but it's done that smaller as a 36. Now, what if I want it to be in italics for all of my subtitles? I can just click that and it will remember. And you can go all of the way down and just choose whatever you want. So I might want to do something completely different for my body text. And actually, I'm going to go with Arimo. It's nice and easy to read. And it's just in a 16 font, which is absolutely ideal. You don't want anything too small that people can't read your text. I'm not going to fill the other ones in right now, but you get the idea. Okay, so just go through and work out what you want. Now, as you go through that video section that I gave you, it will talk to you about font pairing. And generally, when you're putting a brand together, you want 2 main fonts, no more than 3. So everything that you do in your brand will be no more than 3 fonts. Now you can have a font that's in different sizes for things like your titles and your subtitles, but what you don't want is 26 different fonts so that every single thing you put out is a totally different look. What you're trying to do is create that brand identity. So when someone lands on something you've created, they know it's by you, partly because of maybe colors or styling, but also down to the fonts that you use, or you might put specific borders or something on everything that you do. And then you can add in photographs. So in this section, you can add as many images as you want to, but these might be ones that you use all of the time. And then also graphics and icons. So whatever you use on a regular basis, let's say that this month or this week even, but let's say that for the whole month, you're going to have, you know, a launch about your spring products. Rather than trying to fight and find everything constantly, if you're going to be doing a load of stuff, stick all of your spring photos into here while you're working, and then they're right there. You're not having to kind of search through everything. It's just going to make life much, much quicker. And then you can move them into a folder when you move on to a different project, and they're nicely together, and you can come back to them at any time and know exactly where they are.
Could I ask a question?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, well, maybe not. Okay, so I'm doing this. So I've been going down there and I've been writing everything down. I got confused on the part here of the photos. Are you talking about, so if I was to take the picture of my candle,
Yeah.
a photo of my candle,
Yeah.
or are you talking about the labels? So like if I had my Hello line and then my spring collection and then my summer collection, that I would take a picture of just my logo, like my actual picture or my actual whole of the candle. Do I just take the picture of the label? Okay.
No, these are the actual photos that you're going to be using in your posts.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it would,
Yeah,
it would
because
normally be photos of your finished products that you want to push out there and say, this is my wonderful spring candle collection. So you'd have images of your candles.
Okay. Okay. Because I couldn't get, because I was sitting there thinking, okay, do I take a picture of my candle? So just the candle in the jar, or do I take a picture of just the logo? Because my logo's like my branding for my main line is the Hello collection.
Okay, well, your logo would be up here in the logos.
Yeah.
But your pictures, your images will be down here in photos, and then graphics, and then icons. So all of these you can separate.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That I just didn't get. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So just complete all of that, and then you're ready for creating a design. And here it says create your branded templates. Now I want to show you this because I think this is new. I've not seen this until recently. So we can go to get started. So we've got test brand. We can put our website in here. So let's just stick one in, cosmetics.com, and we just press continue. So what it's doing is it's pulling up a whole collection of posts, example posts that you might want to use. We've got an A4 card. Well, this A4 card, that's a normal A4 sheet cut into 4. That's like a postcard type size. That's perfect if you wanted to put like a thank you card into an order box or something like that, or you wanted to put a card in with a, you know, a list of events that you're going to be at soon that people could come and see you. It could be a card with some special offers on to go and visit your website. It could be absolutely anything at all. And you can just use this A6 card. Next to it, you've got a full A4 sheet. You can make that into anything you want. We've got business cards here. We've got an ad. We've got a poster, a presentation if you ever want to do a slide deck. There's a Facebook post, your email header where it's all branded and you can put, you know, a nice heading up there. And then you've also got your Instagram post and your vertical format. And that vertical format could be TikTok, it could be an Instagram reel or an Instagram story, or it could be a Facebook reel or something like that. So anything that's a vertical format. and it will just pop them there. So what we can do is just click continue on the left-hand side, that big purple bar. And you can see it's put the logo in. Now we'll come on to moving them because they might not be exactly where you want them to be, but we just click continue. It's already put the logo in for us. We click continue again, and it's going to go through all of the different bits and pieces. So can you see here, it's brought in our test brand that we had, and it's popped it right here. And I can just click on shuffle, and it will change all of these elements and keep it within that brand parameter that I set at the beginning. So I can just click through. But if I don't like any of those, I can actually come down, and it's got a whole section called Discover Palettes. And if you're stuck for what to actually use for your colours, have a look. Canva has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of predetermined color palettes for your brands, and you can play around and find something that you really like and just shuffle them around. So that's a different one again. Let's go to that one. That's a different one again. I've chosen all blues for these ones, but we can go for something completely different. Let's do something in this one. We'll shuffle that one a couple of times. So it's super, super easy. You can just play around until you find something that you like. Okay. Actually, I'm going to go with watermelon for this one. And if I shuffle that one around, you'll see it's got all sorts of different options in it. Okay, so this is the one we're going to go with, and I'm going to hit continue again. So I can add a font in here. If you don't want to use the ones that are already predetermined and you wanted to do something completely different, you can just change it out here, or you can keep it with the ones that were in the presets, and we click done. And then you can also just shuffle them. And then here we've got options when it comes to the templates as well. So this is a modern template style, but we can change it. So we can go for minimal. I don't know how it knows I'm a soap maker. It's probably pulling other things. No. That's pretty cool. And then we can go for simple. So you can see where your photos can go on all of these. And then we've got playful. And playful puts all sorts of things in the color choice that you've chosen. And at any time, you can go back and say, actually, do you know what? I'm not keen on those colors. I want to change them. And you can just go back up to colors and just alter them all out again. But I'm going to keep this one. So I'm going to go continue again and carry on. And I'm going to leave it on playful. And all I'm going to do is click continue. And can you see it's actually creating all of these for me? And the brand is now all set up, all done. And there they all are. So at any time now, I can come back in and play with these. So let's have a look at, one of these was not in the right place. I think it was the, where is it? I think it was this one.
I don't know, but your invitation one looks like a tombstone.
It looks like what?
A tombstone.
Oh, okay.
Because we are.
It does, it does.
So what we can do is you click on whichever one you want, and then you just use this template, and then it will take it into your editor, and then you can, all of these elements then you can change. So you can change any individual color, and it brings your brand colors right into the top for you for all that template. So they're right there, and you can just click and say, no, actually, I want that a different color. Or you can click on the little plus icon and you can change it to anything that you want it to be and just change that color out completely. Now, there's a couple of new features that I wanted to show you in here. But anyway, you can change all of these. So, you know, the text is really small, just make it bigger and then drag it to where you want it to be. If it's got something like this one here, where it's quite small, but it's on some kind of weird curve and that doesn't fit your brand, come up to the effects tab where your curve is, and curve is here on the left-hand side. And we can actually control the angle of the curve to make it just very subtle rather than that like super bent curve that you'd have on a circular label. So we can just make that much more subtle. And again, you know, if we're announcing that we've got a big sale, we don't want it to be in tiny, tiny letters. So we can make that bigger. We can move our brand up. We can do whatever we want, and we can put pictures in here as well. So have a play. Playful is nice for things like announcements, but it's not going to be great for putting your own images into necessarily. But look, on the left-hand side here, look what we've got. We've got tons and tons of templates. So we can have a look at any of these templates as well, because all of these are also in vertical format. So if we add a page and then we come on here, we can think, okay, well, what kind of image do we want? Let's have a look at some. Let's find a nice one. I get really fussy. You'll get fussy too. All right, let's try this one. All right, so I can just double click it and it will just pop it into the box for us. So we've got love and joy and we've got a little image in the center. I can change this text. So I know which image I'm going to use for this. So I'm actually going to put spa and joy. And then I'm actually going to copy this by using this little duplicate button. And I'm going to pop it up there. And I need to make it smaller so it fits in here. And I'm just going to put another word in that box. And I'm going to put, what should I put? Far and dry. I'm going to put treat yourself. So it doesn't fit. So I'll make it a little bit wider. And this might look, you might be looking at this thinking, oh my goodness, I'm never going to be able to do this. Honestly, you really, really will. You just need to play around a little bit in Canva and you'll be doing this in your sleep before you know it. And it's going to save you thousands of pounds a year on graphic designers and give you some really good images. So I want to change this image here and I want to put an image of my own in. So I'm going to come over to my own photos. No, I'm not. I'm going to go to uploads because it's my own photo. And I need to find an image that I want to use. I've got too many. This is the trouble. Where is it? I'm going to use this one. So can you see I clicked it and it didn't go into the box. Let me do that again. If I just click it, it will just put it onto the top of it rather than filling that box. Okay. You can also just click down on it with your mouse and then drag it in and then it will fill that box. Okay, so you can do either. And then if you want to play around and resize this, you can normally click on this and you can come up to edit photo, but you can also just double click on your image and then you can move it to where you want. So if you want to reposition it so it's just like one section of the image, you can do that just by double clicking that image itself. Now, this has got this background on it. And you might think, well, I don't really want that background. I want something totally different. Or you might use that the first time around. Actually, you see this kind of purpley coloured ribbon here? Well, I find that offensive. I want the colour changing. So I'm going to go onto the colour and I'm going to change it and I'm going to make it this. Yeah, I'll make it that weird colour. Why not? There we go. We'll make it that kind of peachy colour rather than the purple, but you can whenever you've got these text boxes, that's an opportunity for you to make something pop. You know, if you're using something behind like that ribbon area, use something in there that's going to pop. But let's click on this background. Let's say we don't want that background. We want something totally different. We can just delete it by using the backspace and just get rid of it entirely. So now what do we do? Well, we can come up to this background color button and we could just put an actual color in there. Any of the colors that we had in our, either in the photograph itself, it will put them here as the photo colors. And you can kind of go through those and think, do I want any of those? Or the colors that we used originally in the brand are also here. And you've also got your actual brand colors. So all of these can be used. And your brand hub is over here on the left-hand side. So if you ever want to find all of your assets, they're right just there. But I want to show you something that's new. So if we click on there and we come over to here, we can do something a little bit different. I'm going to go into that one for now. If I click on it, oops, can you see there's now this little slider that's appeared inside the color? Well, that's a new feature. And if we click on it, we get the normal box that comes up, which means that we can drag our mouse anywhere in there and change the color. But they've added this whole new section on the right-hand side called gradient. Oh, it's such fun. So if we click on gradient, can you see how it's gone lighter here and darker there? And we've now got a gradient. Well, we can change these colors to anything that we want because the gradient colors of, let me see if I could just bring it up a bit. The gradient colors are just here and it says gradient colors and we can alter these. So if you don't want it quite as dark as that, we can just say, actually, I want it a little bit lighter. I don't want it quite as dark as that. And now we've got those two colors as our gradient. But we can go further than that. If I go back into it again, we've got 5 different styles of gradients here. So that one is a little bit paler in the top left, and then it goes down to the darker color on the right. This one is light at the top and darker at the bottom. And each one is slightly different. So you can pick the style of gradient that you want, as well as the colors that you put in your gradient. If you want, sorry?
Sorry, I spoke out loud. I need to mute myself. I said amazing.
Oh, no, you don't need to mute yourself. That's fine. But, you know, it's rather than just a flat color looks nice, but there are certain things where adding that gradient just make it absolutely pop. It just stands out so much more. And you can use this as a background for your reels and have, you know, a really nice gradient in the background and then your image or whatever you're doing on the top. And then you can put stickers and icons and other bits above and below. You can really go to town with this. So I want you to really embrace gradients. They're just so much fun. And they're very on trend right now as well. So another
Sarah,
thing, yeah.
Sorry, can I just interrupt you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you know how you were saying about, you know, when you were showing it, okay, if you look and it says where photo colors, and you were saying about changing the different background into, like, if you get the photo, you know, how Canva goes and then they can give you the colors that are in the actual picture.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's where I'm getting confused. Is that okay for us to do, even though we're trying to stay to our palette of the logo?
You can do. So most of the time you want things to look harmonious. So you'll have a kind of look and a style to your brand. And you'll notice if you go, Instagram is particularly good for this. There'll be certain brands that as soon as you see a particular image in the feed, you know exactly which brand it is before you even look at who it is, you know, because of the style and the images. And when you go to their feed, there's just this harmonious look across absolutely everything. And that's because they're sticking with very specific colors, very specific fonts, and very specific styles. But some of the things might go completely outside of that, you know, and you've got to think that during the different seasons, your colors will change. So you might want something more vibrant in, you know, for spring. Not maybe that, but you might want to go for a more vibrant color in the spring. And then in the autumn, you know, you'd be going for, you know, the burnt oranges and colors like that. In the winter, you'd be using other colors. So if you're using specific collections based on seasons, you might want seasonality in some of the posts that you're putting out there. But that's, you can still have the same styling, you know, the same fonts, the same style, the same feel, even though you're changing your colors. Okay. All right, let me go back to that one. So down here, if you just scroll down a little bit from the main colors at the top, you've got your brand colors and other bits and pieces popping up here. You've got your photo colors. There's a normal color palette here that you can play around with, but now they've added all these wonderful gradients too. And all of these can be adapted. So there's a black to white, there's a kind of golden one, there's a navy one, that's a pale gray. And some of these would look just so good on the background of some of your reels. They're really, really nice. And you can play around with all of these and tone them down or, you know, mix them up. They're just all nice presets that are done for you. So something like this or something like this would really make that pop and stand out in someone's feed. And that's part of your job, is to actually stand out. You know, everyone's scrolling through. You've got to stop them. You've got to give them a reason to kind of think, oh, what was that? And sometimes that means that you'll be using brighter colors or gradients or just, you know, a nice border, something to make your brand stand out a little bit. So I'd love you to really play around with these gradient settings and creating some of these personalized brand elements, because there are some great new features for you that you can really get into. But there's a couple of other fantastic things I want to show you as well. So let's go back to our Canva homepage. This was our brand hub, setting up all of your brand assets and everything. And I was showing you how you can use things like the gradients, which are some of the new features. But if you keep scrolling over to the right-hand side, there's even more magic. So let's have a look at some more. The first one I'm going to show you is this one. Actually, I will show you this one. This one is called Magic Design. And it's different, but still similar to what we've just done. And it will talk you through what we're going to do. And you start by uploading an image. And then you can save time by previewing multiple custom templates and get an idea on how they look. So let's try it out. Just as it said, let's try it out. So right here, it says try Magic Design. It's in beta at the moment. So we're going to insert media. And now this is going to be fun. Actually, I'm going to try and find the same image. Only it's going to take me 6 years. I know I've got so many. You won't have this mess. You won't have 6,000 files, I am sure. Well, you might have.
So you know how you say it's in beta? Is that the font?
Is it what? Sorry?
You know how you said it's in beta?
Yes.
Is that the font?
No, beta just means that it's new and they're still refining it.
Right. Okay.
So when they do the initial tests, it's in the alpha stage, and then they go to the beta testing, and then they launch it fully. So right now, you may get some things that are a little bit wonky and don't work fully because it's all using AI for all of this. So some of the things might not be 100% right while they're refining it. And they've got a section here for you to report templates if they're not working properly. And if it's a tiny bit off, that's fine because you can refine it. If you're getting something completely weird happening, you can use this button, and that helps them to improve the software that's creating all of this for you. So can you see it's taken our image and it's put it into a whole load of different templates, and then we can pick any of these at all, and then kind of, oops, let's try that again. Just go back into that. We can pick any of these by just clicking on it and then start changing the different elements in there to what we want ours to be, or you could produce all of them. And there's some other bits here. So this is where we add our media. And then we've got the style options, and we've got more style options than we had before. We've got paper craft, minimalist, beauty, modern, simple, announcements, frames, aesthetic, minimal, elegant, weekly, classy, organic, clean, typography. There's millions. Look at all of these different vibes or themes. So you can use exactly the same image and click on any of these and then change it for a completely different look and style. And then we can also go to the headline and we can type in what we want in here. So this is a spa salt bar, and then I can just add it and it will change automatically to a whole load of the areas for me. So it's really, really cool because it's going to save you a ton of time. So then let's say that we want to go into, okay, let's go into this one. We'd change the text at the bottom here, which would probably make a whole load of them in ChatGPT first. It's already put what it is. It's not a hair care product. So I'm going to go to customize this template. It's definitely not a hair care product. You can put your this is actually, you can put your website, or you could put your social media tag up there. So Soap School UK, or your website. If you don't want hair care and you want something different there, you can. You can change the colors of all of these. So if you want it a completely different color, you can. Actually, I'm going to change it. No, that doesn't look pretty good. I'm going to change it to that. And you're ready to go. Couple of clicks and we've got a post there that's ready. You can change the offer. You can just put a little sticker or something there if you don't want a percentage off or something like that, or literally anything at all. And then if you wanted to, if you really like this one and you want to play around and do a whole series of them, you can either just duplicate the page and then change the images so that you've got a whole load of different ones done. So let's say that you had, you know, a collection of beads and you had like 5 bracelets in your collection. You could do one for each of them and use them at different times or put them up on different days. Same with candles or soaps, or if you had a service that you could have different services that you put up there. Or you could just add a page and then grab a completely different one from the side, or that one might be better. And then again, just add your image in and create a whole new look. So it's super, super easy. We can change everything in here just the same. We can make it so that it fits with the same coloring, change the image, etc., etc. So there's so much that you can do just with that one thing. It's ridiculous. So those are 2 new elements that they've brought in, one for your brand hub and one further along for Magic Design. And I definitely have a look at that, because there's honestly the amount of different types of things that you can do and just create a ton of them all in one go is crazy. And once you've got it once, it's going to be in your main designs down here, and you can come back to it and then add extra pages on for a different product any time at all. Now there's another thing that's new in here, and I definitely want to show you it because it's super fun. Actually, I haven't got long. Right, let's keep going. I'm all excited. There's so much to show you. So you can create your own animations. So this is really, really cool if you're doing a social post and you want to add a little bit of movement in there or something fun. So let's say that you were creating a reel or a Facebook post. We can click on this animating element that's new. And they've got a really good example here. You can fly the bee from flower to flower. But this might be that you've got like a honey soap down here with, you know, some honey and your bar, and you stick a picture of a bee in there and you want the bee to move around the screen. So let's actually try it. So it says, select and drag an element around the canvas to create your animation. And it's showing us a picture of this down there. It says, hold the shift while dragging to create straight lines. So we can either just drag it like that and create a straight line, and it will follow where we do it. Can you see it flying? But oh, and there's one there for kick the ball. So let's kick the ball, but in a weird way. Or we might want something with a planet, so we can help the planets revolve around the sun. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Okay, so let's say that we want it going round and round and round. Let's see if that worked. Oh, there we go. So they're quite fun. So let's do the first one again, but let's take our bee and let's have him going in a loop. He didn't do it at all. All right, let me go back. I think it's because I'd already used it. It's still got it registered in there. Let me go back to the animate. We'll start with it again. All right, let's grab the bee. So instead of going straight this time, I'm not going to use the shift button, and I'm just going to have him going in a random pattern and then landing on there. I mean, how cool is that? You imagine you could do that with absolutely anything and create some real fun in your reels or your posts. And I'm sure you can make them, you know, it's about stopping people and giving them something a little bit more interesting. So whether, you know, maybe you've got a leaf design on there, or maybe you could have a little ladybird that kind of walks across the leaf or something, or there's so many ways that you could really play with this and have fun. So definitely check that one out. That's a great new feature. Don't forget, if you can't see these, it's because these might all be showing up as like little presents, like little gift boxes. You just need to click on them to make them appear. But I want to show you this one. This is try out text to image. And I've talked to you about a couple of image programs, but they've now brought text to image into Canva. So if you're on Canva Pro, it's part of it for free for you, which means you don't have to pay for other programs. It's not going to do everything that the other ones do, but my goodness, it's powerful. So why not use it? And there's so many things that you can do here. So let's type something in. Let's do, can you still see the screen okay? Okay, cool. Let's do blue sky with grass and white daisies. And then use lots of white space for text. So I'm giving it some context. I want blue sky, I want grass, and I want white daisies, and I want some space so that I can actually put some text in there, okay? I can choose whether I want square, landscape, or portrait. Let's do it as if we were going to do like a reel or a story or something like that, a vertical format. Maybe you want to be on TikTok. And then we can pick all of these different styles. I'm not going to put a style in at all, first of all. I'm going to leave it. And let's just click on create image. And then we'll go through some of the different styles and show you how that same prompt can look completely different. And there we go. So So there is the first one. I mean, that's beautiful, isn't it? It's not lovely. If I was doing, you know, a Daisies themed soap, I could put all my text and details about the offer and stuff on there. And this might be the first page in several that I put up on a reel. And then I might, you know, have the offer here and then going into the actual product. But they've got all of these different ones here. And they're absolutely, I think they're fab. I could definitely see me using some of those. That one's really nice as well. Completely different, but really, really nice. Yeah, cool. All right, what about something else? I'm going to start over. I'm going to go to portrait. What should we do for style? Should we play around with an actual style this time? Let's do watercolor. All right, let's do the same thing. So it was blue, sky, grass, and white daisies, wasn't it? Leave plenty of white space. I'll do it the same, white space for text. Let's do exactly the same prompt, or I hope it's the same. But we've now clicked on watercolor in the styles, and we'll create that. So each time it generates, it's creating 4 different images for you, and you can use one of them, none of them, or all 4 of them. So here it's created this one. So you can create some really nice stylized images. And then I can just drag them in then. Duplicate and drag. I mean, isn't that lovely? So you could even use these maybe for, once you've got the design, you could import that back into Canva. So download it and import it back in. And you could probably even use these for some packaging, or you could use this as a lovely card. So if you had a Daisies collection for your spring collection, you might put this in as a, like the thank you card or something like that. This design on one side and then a whole load of text with your branding on the other side. Or you could put a positivity message in there, whatever fits your brand. But I think these are absolutely amazing. And to think that it's built in and you're not having to pay any extra at all for this is fantastic. We can also look at all of these different styles. And when I say a few styles, look how many different styles there are here. And every time that you change it, it's going to give you a completely different look. Totally different. Now, let's say that you think that this is too bright. You know, it's like, well, I like it, but it's not me. I want something that's a little bit, you know, more muted. It's too bright and too vibrant for my brand. Well, what you can do is come up to edit photo, and they've got some more new tools for you. So we've got duotone here. This is a whole new one. And look at all of these different color tones that you can put over the top. This is a great way to add a style into your branding. So if your colors were green on everything, then it would make every single image in your color tone. And you can play around with the actual colors that you want in the highlights and shadows here and change them all. And you can change the intensity, how much of that styling that you actually put on there on this slider at the bottom. So, you know, if you were in corals, you could make it in coral or blush or whatever. So you can have a lot of fun just by playing with the duotones over any image at all to make it into your brand colors. But another thing that they've brought in is blur. So if you want a blurred background and then your image over the top of that, nice and crisply, you could use blur, or if there was sensitive material. And you can also use autofocus. So if something's not quite right, you can play around with that too. Let's just go to none. I'm going to go back a few just to get rid of everything so that we're back to the original. Another thing we can do in filters, we can use tons of filters. So these are all natural tones, and we can just click through all of these different ones in natural, and it will give different tones to them. But if there's nothing that you like in them, you've still got this intensity bar so that you can make it brighter or duller. You've got warm tones, you've got cool tones. We can change all of these really easily. Let me just go back to the original again. And there's just so many, honestly, there's so many. Play around and find a style that you really like. But one that I like a lot that almost nobody uses is mono. And when you click on that, you think, oh yeah, it just goes to black. Well, it does just go to black and white, but look at all of the different styles of black and white that you can incorporate into your design. There's so many of them, but you've also got this intensity button that you can use with the black and white. And what that does is it starts bringing some of the color back in. So if you want it super muted and really romantic and soft, then you can just bring a little bit of the color back in, and you can just scale that to whatever you want to until you find your happy place. So now we've gone from super popping color to lovely and muted. And that's without using any of these other bits and pieces too. So there's so much that you can play around with those. And then also you've got this bright color pop down here where you can really kind of go to town and make them zing as well. So I've popped this over the top of the previous one because it's still remembering what I did. With the mono. So if I put the intensity up on the mono and then go to pop, look at the difference now. It's really, really gone bright and vibrant, and we can play around with all of these. So do you like those? Yeah? Honestly, they are such fun.
Do you have to have Pro for this? Or is it just a normal
I
Canva?
can't hear you very well. Can you repeat that?
She said you have to have it in Pro.
Do you have to, is it in Pro?
So
Or
some of
just
these features are Pro and some of them are not Pro. So when you go to these boxes, you know where the little gift boxes are, if it's got the little, I can't show you because I'm in Pro, so it's not showing me, but it will show you if it has a little crown in the right-hand corner, I think it's the right-hand corner, it's a Pro feature. If it's not got the crown, then it's free for everybody to use. And I think there's at least 10 new features that they've brought out here. And it's definitely worthwhile playing with all of them because there's some amazing things in here.
Mm.
This one, for example, will get rid of something. So let's say that you've got an image and let's say that you've taken a photo of something on a table and you didn't realize that there's a whole load of crap sitting on the corner of the table and you can't crop it out because half of the image would disappear. Well, you can just literally go on here and you can just start rubbing it out. And you can literally just go over the area, rub out the things that you want. So it's showing you here what you can actually do. And you select the photo, edit the image, and then use the magic edit, and you change all of the bits and pieces. So you can just cross out one flower and add in a new flower. Just type in what you actually want to be there instead, or you can just literally just use it to rub things out that are in the image. So I think a really good way of doing this is if you're ever doing flat lay photography and you've got a whole load of things on the table and you take the shot and then you look at the image afterwards and it just doesn't look right. You've got too many things in the background or a big clump of them all together and you don't want so many there, or you know, something like that. It just doesn't look quite right. rather than trying to redo the photo over and over and over, just rub out some of the bits that you don't want in there and simplify the image down. And this is a great way of repurposing your images as well, because you can literally take an image that you've already used and then give it a whole new tweak, a whole new look, and change it out. So tons and tons and tons of things that you can do in Canva for your branding. Now, Canva has so many things that you can do on the free plan, but it's got a million times more when you go to the pro plan. I can't think of a single business that isn't going to get the value out of it. I really can't. It's just, you will do everything from all of your packaging to your posters to your leaflets, everything that you need to do in your business, whether it's a graphic or a printable, you'll be doing probably in Canva. It's just a one-stop shop. And did you know, for example, if you haven't got a website and you just need somewhere to send them where it's got your contact details and a little bit about you, you can have a free website on Canva to get you started. It's not brilliant, but it's a free website. It's somewhere where you can have all of your contacts, everything up there and done. And in that, in those little gifts, have a look out, because they've now got soundtracks that you can add into your things like your reels. Really fun soundtracks that you can add in and create really engaging reels already in there. You don't have to pay extra for licensing. It's already in there. And the soundtrack automatically adjusts using the AI tools to your images. So you're not having to mess around like you normally would, trying to make them all line up and editing things. You just click the button and it does it all for you. So that's in there as one of the new things now as well. And there are so many new icons and elements that you can animate. So you can put stickers and icons and things right into all of your posts and reels, and then animate them all, animate the text so it comes in different ways, and really style all of your posts. So you can, instead of just a flat photo, the photo can kind of twist in, and it's just about creating something that looks different, or the text can come in afterwards. And then it's like, oh, what's that? And it's automatically then grabbing their attention. Once you've created that once, you can just switch out that image, and then you've got a completely different post. So you can use the same things once you've set them up. You're setting up basically your own templates to use in a ton of different ways in the future.
Sarah?
Yes.
Could I ask, okay, so with Canva, I love Canva because I've been doing all my reels with it. To do reels, it simplifies the reels than anything else. But what I need help with is they have a new thing now since they've done this. If you go on to the part where you do the videos, okay, the layered. So if you have like the 1 layer, 2 layer, 3 layer, but you want the 1 layer to overlap the 3rd layer,
Yes.
I'm having an issue doing that.
I haven't used the layers yet. I've only seen videos of the layers, but I believe you can drag them into different positions.
I've tried, yeah. And it's not working for me. So it's obviously something I'm doing wrong, because if I'm going...
Have you reached out to them and asked them for some help?
No.
Well, I would suggest that that's probably what you definitely need to do. Check out a couple more videos. If you're following one video and you're following it absolutely step by step and it's not working, go and find a different person's video, because sometimes when it's worded differently or you're watching it happen in a different way, you're like, oh, hang on a minute, and you'll find that you're missing just one little thing. Because I found on some of the Canva videos, they're going so quickly that you're like, what? And you just miss it entirely.
Yeah, because you miss, because when I went to do like on the other ones you were talking about, like the CapCut and all that, and I was, okay, so I was writing it down, trying to go back and forth, and I couldn't get it. But when you go onto Canva, it's so simplified that when you put the video on and then it goes for transition and it gives you those great big huge boxes Tumblr, this, flip up,
Yes.
flip down, whatever.
And it's so
Okay.
easy to understand.
So
isn't it?
easy. But then you got the layered one. So I tried doing the layered, which would be the music, or if you wanted, so if you had like, I do candles, but if you had a soap and then you wanted your seasonal soap to come in right on the top of your original soap, so that when it went through, your original soap showed up as your seasonal soap.
Mm.
I was having an issue lining up my candle with the second layer. It wasn't following. So I tried doing the drag and drop. It wasn't going. So I know it's not me. It's not them. It's a me issue. I'm doing something wrong. But I think you're right. By the person who I was listening to, by them saying, do this, I wasn't following exactly what they were saying. I got to find somebody else.
Yeah, find someone else and have a look at it. But also, if the candle isn't quite lining up with where you want it, remember, you can double click, and even in your videos, you can move the video. So you can realign it for your next
Oh.
clip and just move the candle to where you need it to be for the second clip.
Just click. So you just click it.
Yeah, so you can edit what part of the video, so you could be moving elements around.
Okay.
And you could also expand the video so it's bigger than the frame. So if you haven't got enough room to move anything, just expand it so you have got some room to move it, and then you can realign it that way.
Do you know what? I never even thought of that. You know, it's funny because you say that and you think, okay, but when you're following a video and they're saying, do this, you actually keep doing what they're doing, going, this is just not working. You've just given me another. Okay, thank you.
Yes. So Kate said, will this be sent out as a replay so you can watch it again? Yeah, I'll pop this into the VIP group for everybody. Absolutely. Because I know there's a lot in this, but there's just so many really good features. And I've noticed that when people are putting stuff up, a lot of the things that they are putting up onto social media, they're still just like a static image or something really simple. And that's great. That's your first step. But I want you to start getting a little bit more dynamic, getting something that's really going to start getting you more noticed and really start showcasing your brand. So some of these tools will really help you with that. And don't try and do like 26 layers in a reel on your first one. Just try and do one transition or one animation and then start building on it gradually. You're not going to be an expert on day one, And the worst thing that can happen is you do the undo button a million times and you go backwards and you think, okay, where did it work? And just go backwards. And if you have to redo it, you have to redo it, but you'll learn each time. Okay, are there any other questions? I know it's an awful lot. I'm so sorry, but I had to show you because there's so many amazing, amazing features. And branding is really important. And we'll talk about branding all of the way through the entire program. So don't worry about that. But getting started, understanding what your fonts are, what your colors are, having everything in an area that just simplifies things. So when you're working, you're not spending hours trying to find all the images and trying to work out what actual color it was and just trying to guess. It's going to help you so much. A little bit of setup time, and then it's going to be easy breezy. Yes, you can add your own fonts into Canva. Yes, you can. I have a whole stack of different fonts that I have. Some of them I've purchased for ridiculous amounts of money, and other ones I got from Creative Fabrica. So wherever you're buying your fonts from, I always go for commercial rights because obviously I'm running a business. So I want to make sure that any fonts that I'm using proper commercial license. So if you're in Canva and you're on the free plan, you can obviously only use the free font. If you're on the pro, you can use all of the fonts. If you're adding your own, make sure that you own the commercial rights for the font. Don't just grab a font from the internet somewhere, because I can guarantee you will not have full commercial rights to that font. And there's so many, you just don't need to. Right, my darlings, if there's no more questions.
How do you save it, Sarah? Do you just put it in the file at the top?
Let me show you. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so up here, this little box up here, where it says untitled design, you just put test image or whatever you want to call it and click return and it's saved. So then when you go back to your home page, there is, why does it say untitled design? It shouldn't say untitled design. There it is, test image. It just hadn't updated is all. And there it is in your home. So when we go back, test image, and it'll be in your recent designs that you've got right there on your homepage. So anytime if you can't find this, just go to Canva at the top left-hand side, click on their logo, and it will take you to this page. This is where all of the magic is happening, including little whizzy mice with sparkles. And you, anytime that you want to change the name of it, you do exactly the same thing. Just go up to that, you know, that top section where your image name is. So if I click on that, just go up to here and type in whatever name you want in there, hit return. Now, if you want to absolutely, it saves automatically every second or two, but you can also go to File and Save there as well. So you've got a couple of different options. Okay.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful
Thank you.
time. I
Thank
want
you.
to see some examples put up into the group. Have a play. It doesn't have to be something that you're going to use for your brand. Just have a play, figure out different things, use some gradients, have some fun, do an animation. Just start learning and playing with these tools. You know, it's not just all about business. You might have birthday cards to make for people, or, you know, someone's leaving at work and you're like, oh shit, I haven't been to the shops, I need something. You could just knock a card up and make something fun, or whatever it is. Send a happy message to someone that you haven't seen for a while. It doesn't just have to be about business, but it's going to help you practice and it's going to be a lot of fun too. All right, have a wonderful week. We are going to have a meeting next Thursday, just before Christmas starts. Oh my God. Before...
Wishing the summer away.
It'll be here before you know it. But it's coming up to Easter, so it's just before Easter starts. So we are going to hop on next Thursday, and we'll have another call, and then the calls will go to monthly, and it'll be the first Thursday of every month. But I am going to be putting weekly content up into the VIP group for you as well. So please stay active in the group, because that's where you're going to get so much more benefit if you're actually taking part and sharing. So look out for all of the new bits and pieces that I'll be sharing with you. I've got all sorts of resources popping up this week that I've already scheduled out for you, so I know what they are. And don't forget to go and sign up for Leader.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
Lee.
Thank you.
Bye.